Okay, welcome everyone to this tutorial. This tutorial is about um, uh, using React for building dashboards. So you have already tried uh, other tools for building a dashboard. Today we are considering React, and you would see now basically there are, as always, benefits, pros and cons for each tools you will use. And so yeah, so let's start. Okay, so what's important here is you're going to building this dashboard is going as you can see, you have seen from yeah, like in the challenge document, you're going to be using Flask and React. So Flask is React is a tool or the library for building the front end, and React is like once you learn it, if you haven't, is very useful for building really dynamic and very interactive user interfaces. So it's very, this is like you can build front ends with it. It's very versatile, basically. So this is a part for the front end. You have to build the back end, prepare APIs you can use, we have already discussed before, tools for building the back end, like Fast API or Flask, this with Python. So React is a JavaScript library. So having knowledge in JavaScript is very useful here. If you don't know JavaScript, this is going to be harder for you to do. React is in general has how to say, there is some kind of a learning curve. It's not super easy to start with it if you don't have a background, but once you do, you can do a lot of things with it. So what is it used? Usually React is used for building single page application, because it's used to build dynamic components. Basically, you can build a single application page application. So one example of this is Google Drive, for example. It's a single page application. So basically, the page is one, but then the different components within the page change dynamically. You can build dashboards with it, like as for this, the example for you for this challenge. And you can also build mobile applications. This is React Native. You can build cross-platform mobile apps. Okay, so what are the components of React? So React, as I said, is a JavaScript. So JavaScript library, it has one component is JSX, which is a JavaScript XML. This allows you to write HTML-like code within JavaScript. This is easy, make it easier to read and write. Okay, the component is that within React, you use stuff like state and props. These props, these are properties that you can pass, as I said before. React, you can build components with it. So basically like modules. Think of it as the modules in Python. Basically, these are reusable pieces that can be rendered dynamically on the page. And basically, you can have a parent component can pass variables to the child components using these props. State is that can manage data, and for each component can manage the data within this component in state. You're going to be seeing this in the demo next. Okay. Lifecycle methods, the methods that allow you to hook. Our hooks are called hooks, that different stages of component life cycles. Basically, you'll see this again in using. So basically, like different like a component when it's coming on the web page, it's like mounting, updating, or unmounting from the page, and basically you can like basically you can attach something to each or use like these different stages for different things. Anyway, why? So these are like maybe it's not super clear here what I said, but this is like once you get to using React, you will learn about all of this stuff. Okay, why use React? So the important thing that I already mentioned is the reusability and kind of a modularity in using in building an application. So you can build different parts in different components and then like render them in the web page. So you'll have different files, each one defining component if you want, and this will be like different parts of the web page can be written each modularly. React is have high performance. Basically, it's very efficient in its updating and rendering. It has like it's a library that has there are like to attach to it there are many collection of libraries and tools that, for example, Chart.js, which is useful for building dashboards, for example. This can integrate with React, basically. So there are many libraries that can be used within React for different purposes. And React has a very large community support, basically. So you can find like everything you want to use with React or anything you want to any resources you need, you can find more or less on the internet. So pros and cons of React, like pros, React has a declarative syntax. So this simplifies how you write. Like when you're writing, that is your front end, basically. So as I said, this has a component-based architecture. This is modular and maintainability is easier. And as I mentioned, it's a strong community support. The cons, like the one that I can think of, is that it has some kind of a steep learning curve of like you have to give it some time to get used to it. You can build simple things very like you can start. It's not super hard, but you can start. But then to build complicated stuff, you have to like give yourself time and practice to learn how to use it. So if what you need is just something very static website and a simple static website, you don't really need to be using React for that. But it's more when you want to have something dynamic and even like complicated, React can be very useful in that regard. So yeah, so any questions so far? Because we are going to get into it. So give me just one. I will if you have any question, you can ask. I'll be sharing my full screen so that we can just start. Basically, the demo. It's going to start the demo. Okay, going back to this. So what you need to install Node.js if you don't have it. Once you install it and check that you have npm the node package manager. So kind of similar to pip if you are more used to Python. This is similar to pip. Basically, you install different things using npm. So once you have this, so just let me show you. Okay, let's say like this is think of it, this is empty. Sorry. So I have Node installed. Sorry, let me close this one. Stupid. Okay. So Node.v, I have it. I have version 18.20 and npm as well. So like to install Node, you have to go like there is this can go to like this is the documentation. Basically, you can go there and know how to install this part. Once you have it, I like or have you solved how to create. So we'll use npx. Create React app, and then the name. So let's call it the dashboard. But no, it's not going to be. Sorry. You can also use like you can use npm, and let me create. Well, I'm mistaken in the create. All right. So let me use npm create, and I want to show you like I want to show you something different, but like let me use beat basically. So this is going to take us into like an interactive console, basically to create what is the name of the project. So Vite is like you don't need to necessarily use Vite, I think it's called. I'm not sure of the pronunciation, but you don't necessarily to use this to create, but it's like make it is faster to create a React app with it. Okay, I have um, to specify the project name. So I will use dashboard here. And it's going to ask me which framework I want to use. I want to use React. This is the framework I'm using. And I'm going to be using JavaScript. So now we can see like here, it's telling me what to do next. Basically, I need to cd into this new, it created a new directory. And this directory, like as you can see, it has components here already ready. So basically, what you need to create your app is already there. Basically, and then basically can add more. So here you have your HTML resources. Here's the public part. Here you define your component. You can define a component in the src directory. Okay, so just to follow what I need to cd into the dashboard and use npm install to install all the necessary packages. Install here. And what it's doing here, you can see it's you have your package.json. This one defines like the dependencies you have, like defining them. Like the project name, its version, and like its various dependencies. Once I npm installed from this, basically it is, you can see like here a new directory have been created with node modules. This is like the result of installing these different packages that are needed. Okay, so it's still running. It will take some time. All right, so to run now, basically there is like I can basically run my my app right now. Just 1 second. I have one running already, so let me stop it. Uh, so I can that even though like I didn't do any, I didn't define any, I didn't modify the like out of the box code at all. But let me just show you how to run it. So npm run dev. So because I'm already inside this, I have to be inside the directory where the app is. So you can see that it opened. It's like I can see the app is at localhost port 5173, which is this one. So this is just like out of the box is made with plus React. And yeah, so this code, what's this? This code basically it has this two icons, and one is rotating, and it also has this button where it counts how many times you click it. And you can see that the code for this one is in those so this package JSON. Okay, go to src or sources, and so this is what happens when you create a React app using Vite. So the exact it's more or less the same if you use something else, but it will have more or less the same build, but the names of the files might differ a little bit. So main.jsx here, this one is not we're not going to touch. So this one is the one that is like basically running your the whole app or the main. So it's running this app.jsx. This one, this is where the code is defined. So it's importing this one and running it like at the root. So we're not going to touch this part. This one is the same. We're not going to touch it. Here it's defining the code for what you can see here. This one. So you can see it has the React logo and the Vite logo, and they are rendered as images here. So this is a JSX part. So this is an HTML kind of tags defined here inside this code. So you have the image for the Vite logo and the React, and there is an animation running there, and also you have what is a state is a variable called count, this one that appears here. So count and set count are defined as a state with use state in React. So what this line is defining is that it's setting the value of this variable count to equal to 0, but is defining set count as a function that will change the value of count of this variable. So basically what it does is that like it's like updates the value of the variable we have there. So with and you can see let me just I'm not going to go more about explaining this. I'm going to, maybe I should. So let me just remove this part. So I'm going to can directly see that it happens. Once I save this, it will see that here changed. So I remove the logos, and I can change the name here. Like I can call it this dashboard, right? So I change the header that appears here. So you can see what appears is in the return. So they define the function app, and what it returns is what is rendered on in my component. So the component here is the app, but I could also define more components, like let's say new folders, components, and here I can define some anything, something simple. Let's say, I don't know. Let's say it's I don't know, I want to call it window. I don't know, it's just or yeah, ESX. And I'm just going to what I need to define a function. This is simple, so I'm going to by convention we use the same name. Is it the same one? Right here, I'm not going to return like basic. I need to return one let's say it's say it's a header, that is window component, right? So, and then what I need is default export window. So this is what is going to, like, once you import these components, this is the component you will get this function. Sorry, export. I missed it. Export default results. Right, and I have this in components. Basically, I can import this part here. Let's say import window, and you can see it auto completed it for me. It's here components with imported from components window file. Okay, and basically I can render this as window, right? So, or like I can write it as like this. So it can be, but because it's it's empty, so this is like here. And once you see, I'm going to get the window component here. Basically, this, of course, this is very simple component. I don't really need to define a component for just one header, but it can be something complicated, and I can also pass it some variables. And basically, this was called props. So I can define the variable here, some prop, like let's call it a name. And then because it takes a name, it should like, I define it like a feature. Sorry. Here I like, let me use it here. So let's say hello name. And it's in curly brackets because it's JavaScript inside and JSX. So here let's pass it like, I don't know, any value. Not sure if I'm making a mistake. Should be. I think I'm making a mistake, but yeah. Okay, so I passed it a value is of a name, and it just like, this is a prop basically. So this is name is a prop that I can pass from my parent app to the child component, which is a window. So just to explain the next part, the count, the one that is here is counting. So let me just I refreshed, so the count now is 0. So what is appearing here is what is this? So I have this let me remove the extra parts. So this, okay. So I just have this button. What happened? So I removed this. Yeah. And remove the dev as well. So, okay. I have this button, right? So the button is defined as, so I created a new div component, but this is not like, so it starts here and ends here. So I have this button, which is like, it's like, how to say? So it's component there. And what I need to define is a function that, like, what happens when I click on the button. So when I click on the button, it has to run this an arrow function, which is this is a function, a void function. So it takes it doesn't have a name basically. It's like a lambda in Python, for example. And basically, it's going to run set count, and it's going to set count to its value plus 1 once it's clicked. So the value of count at a start, and you can see there is a text count is, and this is the value of the count value. The count value is 0 because I set it to 0 here. I could have started with minus 10 if I wanted, and then it will appear as minus 10. And once you click on it, you run set count, and set count is going to run from, it's a function that takes count and return count plus 1. And so that would happen. So it's plus, it adds plus 1. Okay, so this is like a basic use of use state or the states in React, and how to build basically a very simple app. Is this like do you have any questions so far? Because I'm going to show you like a little bit more complicated app. So I'm going to assume that everything's clear. So I'm going to stop this one. Right. So Control C to stop running this one. I'm going to close this window. And we look at the other one. So for this one, okay. Okay, so as I said, to build the dashboard, we need a backend and a front end. So the backend is built with Flask, right? So you have used Flask before. So what I'm not going to explain what's happening here. I'm sorry, I'm not going to explain in so much details what's happening here. I'm just going to show you that. So this app is for like I've written it to be basically it's like a stock market predictions, a stock price prediction, and so the back end has like APIs for so this is a home, and then I have a data endpoint, which will like gets a symbol for the stock price, the stock you want to look at, and starting and ending values. So to start date and end date, and it will return it uses Yahoo Finance to get the data. So I'm getting data from Yahoo Finance. And basically download the data for this particular symbol from starting date to end date. And there is a predict endpoint as well. This one, like assuming that I have, let's say, a regression model and let's say a Riemann model as well, I can run depending on what is specified. Specified model to return some predictions. I can also have an endpoint for metrics, and I have a placeholder for metrics. So I don't have an actual model at the moment, but let's say, assume that this prediction, like you can see, this one is here. So suppose that like I have some model, let's say maybe it's pickle model or something. And what it takes, I have defined a function that takes some data and basically I'm going to run like a prediction. So I'm here, like I'm actually returning a nonsense, but it's just a placeholder for now. But it could be like a logic for using the data to run the model to predict for the particular data set. Or if you have like stored results, you can also like retrieve this result from like a database or files. Okay, so so I have 3 endpoints as here. What will happen? So this is the backend, and basically, let's see, is it? So run the backend. So here I am inside this directory, and I'm going to run the server .py. And so you can see that I'm running it at like all addresses, but port 500. So I can basically see it here. And you can see like this is like my this is like a home road, which is just has a hello world message here. This is the first one. Okay. So this is the backend. Now I need to define the front end. And we did the same. So I built it with beta as well. And you can see, like, again, I haven't built it like in the most modular thing, but so I have the same main. So let me close maybe the backend completely. Okay. So this is the front end. So let me close this one. So yeah, so the main.dsx is the same as before. It's not touched. App.dsx, now this is the one that is complicated. Now I have, I'm defining three state variables. I have symbol, data, and prediction. Symbol I'm using as a default value of AAPL, which is one of the, I'm not sure which stock is this one, but it is like one of the stocks. It could be Google or like whatever is available in the data set. So the data itself is set to an empty, uh, set empty array, and prediction is null. Okay, so I'm going to get to the use effect in a moment. So basically what happens here, so let me just, so the use effect is another thing that is in React, where like it's, let's do say this. So it's like it is when you want something to run, not as a result of a particular, like not with a click from on the front end, but once the component itself is loaded, you can use the use effect to change, it will run something that to run once a particular component, something like changes, but not as a result of, am I saying something incorrectly? Sorry. Let me say, so sorry, it will run once okay, here you can see, like in use effect I have fetch data. This is the thing that will run, and symbol is the dependency. So once the symbol changes, the use effect is going to change to run the fetch data, and fetch data is this function, and this function is the one that is running. Okay, so it's corresponding to the backend. Why did I close the backend? Let me open this. Okay. Okay, so I have on the backend, I have this data method, that data endpoint. Is a get, gets a get with a get method. So this is the one using this access get. So this is going to get the response from this API, and it will get the data for me from there. And it will run set data. So data is empty, but it's going to use the data from the response to set the value of this variable. The same, I have another function for predict, which is going to it's going to get a response from the backend endpoint, predict, and set the prediction from the data prediction. So okay, should I run this and just see how this looks? So npm run dev, and you can see now I have this. Basically, it takes an input here, and you can and it has a button predict here. It's like another thing is I can show the data, but the data is originally empty. So um, okay. Yeah, so this is an incomplete UI actually. So here, but what I need is to define like another input for like, okay, so basically because my sorry, let's go to back here. Because I have a default value for starting and ending, because like how to say this, I have like it can be empty basically, but it needs to take not only the value, sorry, value from the symbol, but also like the starting and ending. So, and this function doesn't like, it doesn't define getting those values, but um it's like I'm just okay. It's like it has just a basic, very basic format at the moment. But just saying like what you can define with it is uh like how that, how your front end can correspond with, like you map that endpoints or use them in your front end. So because there is like, I wanted to modify it like with the online, but since there is not enough time, I'm going to stop here. But hopefully you can find the completed, like the completed one in linked in the slides. You can check that on your own, and if you have questions, you can ask on Slack. At the moment, do you have any questions for now? Okay. If there are no questions, uh, okay. Is this because everything is clear or everything is confusing? I'm not sure. Which is it? Um, anyway, I will let you go. So let's end the session here.